What's up, you guys? This is AJ coming to you once again from the Thwip side, and today I'm here with this most excellent gnome, another gnome I've added to my collection, and he mixes two things I like a lot, which are collecting gnomes and my love of coffee. So I thought that was pretty cool. Wanted to show that off real quick. Those that watch the channel know that I like my gnomes, but today the gnome and I are gonna take a look at the Marvel Legends Fantastic Four Retro Wave, Psychoman, and High Evolutionary. Now, as you can see, I already have them out of the package. I popped them out the same time I did the rest of the Fantastic Four Retro Wave. I did show off the package in that video, so if you haven't seen that, check it out. First, taking a look at High Evolutionary. I really like the detail in his head sculpt, though it gets lost in the shininess of the red. But there is some nice detail in the sculpt, as you can see. Get a little closer, but back here you totally lose it because of the shininess. The face looks cool, like the yellow eyes. Comes down to his shirt and, well, I guess it's supposed to be like a tunic, the shirt and the flaps, I guess you call them. I never know what to call those. And then you've got studs etching, silver studs all the way through and around his belt and all the way down. And I like the swept look and some nice wrinkles. So glad that they did these studs and actually painted the studs, so it's just not all a big blob of red. The red on his shirt piece, cloth, whatever, is not as shiny as the head or the hands. In his gauntlets, it's more matte. It does get shinier on the skirt piece, but up here it's not as shiny. And I love the arms on this guy. The metal rings, nice and tight, almost like a piping, but it's all nice and etched. And I like the color. It's like a silvery blue. It's got this blue tint. And that goes down to the legs as well. And then you, once again, shininess on the boots. So yeah, he looks really cool. Definitely fits the character. So while he does look cool, he is kind of light on the accessories. All you get is interswappable hands, and it's just to have a complete an opposite fist to instead to replace the splayed out hand, or a splayed out hand to replace the fist. Articulation wise, he has a lot of nice tilt. His head swivels, looks up that far, looks down more so. His arm, they're really tight, tighter than I thought. Out to a little, about 90, maybe a tad bit more. And then you got the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. If I can get this down. And they're pinless, so that's cool. But they go, let's see. I knew there was it's really tight out of the package. That far, so nice range. And then you got torso articulation, that you get tilt side to side, arc back a little bit, crunch forward a little bit more. I'm not sure about waist. Maybe he has waist. Oh, he does have waist. Okay, so there's some waist hidden under there, so that's pretty cool. Look at him, I got him all looking funky. Leg goes out, decent range. Goes up, kicks back, thigh swivel. Let's see how tight these are. Double jointed knees. Ugh. Let's see. They go that far. Muscle hits muscle. Still not bad. And ankle goes forward. Good amount. Back quite a bit. And pivot. Oh, and he also has a boot cut. So hidden articulation here and extra articulation here. So decent amount of articulation on this guy. Now, while High Evolutionary is cool and all, there's something about Psychoman that I just love. the look of him is just so cool to me. I love how the metallic green plays off just the stark white of his armor and his pants. I just think it's really cool looking. It just really pops to me. And then also his head, speaking of popping, the gold head. I just think, I don't know, just the vibe of him is awesome. Definitely just like the comics. I get that comic vibe, so good job to nail the look. Speaking of the head, I love how clean the lines are, the painted lines, and you got his little symbol there. All very clean, and the eyes are really cool too. And then, of course, the metallic green helmet comes down, and you get some detail, green detail in the white armor. And there are some details in the white. Again, it might be lost not because of shininess, but because it's so white, as opposed to High Evolutionary having details lost because of shininess. And some etching here in the armor. And then, of course, you got this nice green belt. And I like the lines painted in it. Some circles on the arms. And yeah, just really cool. I love how they work this piping into the sculpt of the figure. Just looks really cool to me. Just overall, just really stands out. And then, of course, in here, it doesn't get quite lost, is the bagginess of the pants. If there was some like shading or some paint, it would make the pants really pop, but still cool the way it is. Psychoman is also light on the accessories. We do get his emotion control box, fear, doubt, and hate. Those are the emotions he likes to use. And it's just blue plastic with some details, maybe some buttons or something for him to bring up those emotions, and then some etching. So yeah, also I will say, although not crazy with the paints, I do like how nice the fear, doubt, and hate were painted on and not all sloppy. That's really cool. Articulation on this guy is pretty cool. I mean, it is hindered, but out of the package you look and see, well, that's not going to do anything. But it does. You get some great amount of tilt for having this all domed head in this armor. So that's pretty cool. A lot of personality there. You can't look up very far. Like I said, it is hindered, but does more than you think. Looks down a decent amount for having all this. Again, more than you think. Is that a paint blemish? Don't get paint blemishes. Oh, and he can also look side to side. His arm goes up 90. Bicep swivel. I always want to say thigh swivel or knee swivel. Once again, pinless. Double jointed elbows. I think that's all you're going to get with him, unfortunately. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, about that. Muscle into muscle again. And, of course, rotates, does all that fine jazz. Torso, it's more like kind of like in the waist underneath this piece. This piece is separate from the top. And you get a lot of clicky rotation. No tilt. A lot more crunch than you would think. Like I said, although hindered, he does surprise you with articulation. That is a lot more crunch than I figured he would have. Doesn't arc back that much, though. And his leg will go out. So-so range. Kicks up. This is soft, but it's still kind of soft, but it still gets in the way. But you can get like that much. I don't foresee him being in any Spider-Man type poses anyway. I always judge articulation a lot of times by the character as well. So he does have a thigh swivel, and that's what I was saying. I like how they incorporated this green piping because it's attached here and up here, and the swivel's here, so you can still rotate, even though mine is tight as hell. There you go. So you do get the rotation at the thigh. Then you get pinless, double jointed knees. That doesn't go much farther than that because the piping crashes. But like I said, I judge my articulation on character. I don't foresee him needing much more than that. The ankle goes that far up, that far back, and then you get the pivot, and there is no boot, hidden boot or anything. Also, real quick, I had a little accident with my camera. I knocked it over, but when I was fumbling to save camera from falling and everything, I did bump Psychoman, and it must have broke something loose where I said he didn't really have a lot of tilt. He has a little more tilt than I actually thought. So, as Bob Ross says, happy little accidents. So after I had camera issues, I got a little discombobulated, and I forgot to show wrist articulation on these guys. They both swivel, of course, and hinge in and out. There's Psychoman and High Evolutionary. And seeing as how I mentioned how Psychoman's elbows and knees were pinless, and also High Evolutionary's elbows, I forgot to mention, I think that his knees are pinless as well. And here they are next to another Fantastic Four baddie, of course, the incomparable Marvel Legends Doctor Doom. And boy, these three together, they would probably give the FF a run for their money. So bottom line for me is I really love this Gnome. I just love the coffee theme on his hat. Love coffee, like I said. No, I'm just kidding. Bottom line for me is that I'm really enjoying these two figures. High Evolutionary, my only gripe really with him is the shininess of his face. It does it's too much, I think, a little tad too much, and it washes out a lot of the detail from a distance. But still a really nice figure. I do love the sculpt, the metal rings in his arms and legs, and I love that silvery blue tint. Psychoman, I just think looks really cool, and as I said before, he just really pops to me, just really stands out, and I love that metallic green playing off the white, and he just has a nice presence to him, and the gold too really stands out. Just a really interesting and cool looking figure. All in all, two very welcome additions to my Marvel Legends collection, and especially my Fantastic Four collection. It's great to see some villains coming into the line. Still want my Mole Man figure. Where the heck is it, Hasbro? I can't believe we don't have a Mole Man figure. Actually, when this line was first being talked about, that a retro line was coming, I was like, they got to do Mole Man, right? But no. So hopefully next round we'll get a Mole Man in some form, because he is a much needed FF villain. With that being said, comment and let me know what you think about these figures. And while you're at it, please tap that like button, consider subscribing and whipping that notification bell. And I will catch you guys all right back here on the Thwip side. Later.